Welcome to Cryptid Crossroads 505. I'm Larry.
And I'm Vince,
Welcome to the show.
where we talk all things cryptid,
Sasquatch,
aliens,
hauntings.
and anything paranormal you would like to share with us.
You can reach us at cryptidcrossroads505@gmail.com.
So settle in, open your mind, and enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to Cryptid Crossroads 505. We're doing it once again.
Here we go.
Here we
Welcome to the CCR 505 studios.
That's right.
Glad to be here.
That's right. We've been a little bit rusty over the past couple of weeks, but we're trying to get back into the swing of things. Of course, we're going to talk about, we may touch base on a documentary we both watched. And what was it called?
It's called Bigfoot Beyond the Legend.
Beyond the Legend. And it was pretty interesting. I mean, a lot of these documentaries talk about the same thing that we've heard before, but, you know, it's like with any subject. It's like math. Repetition makes you better.
Right. Well, I think these documentaries talk about the same thing because there's only a limited amount of information out there.
There is, but what I get out of them is you talk to different people that have maybe had the same encounters, the perspective's a little different, but, you know, overall, everyone has different theories about what this creature is, where it came from, what it does,
Right.
how it survives. It's interesting. So it's a topic that's really wide open. It really is.
Right. And well, like you said about these documentaries being a lot of the same information, sometimes it's the same people.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it is. Anyway, this one, it had some interesting topics in it. You know, they talked about the different regions of the world that this creature's from. You know, like one of the guys on there said, everyone thinks that this creature's only located in the Pacific Northwest. And it's not. He talked about sightings down in eastern Texas, down in our area, the dry desert land of like New Mexico, Utah.
Right. He had even mentioned something about a sighting from a retired rancher, I think, in Brazil.
Right.
Yeah, they said down there they're considered to be the protectors of the rainforest.
Right. Not only that, I mean, in China, there's the theory of them, and Russia, they're just worldwide. So, you know, for this thing to be like a folklore, there's a lot of people worldwide that have experiences. It's like we've always said, it's kind of hard to call BS on that one.
Right, and like a lot of these stories that are passed down amongst tribe or different people, they're all similar from way back when none of these people could have ever had contact with each other.
That's right. And they did bring up a good point that almost every Native American tribe on this continent has a story about them. You know, it's woven into their culture.
Right.
Like, what did they say? So a lot of tribes say, don't go out, or they're going to get you after 10. And,
Right. And some of the stories were geared to, you know, keep the children in line,
Right.
keep them from running off, you know, don't go off at night. And like for the women, don't go get water alone. But, you know, like we said before, all these stories, there's got to be a grain of truth because they started somewhere.
That's right. You know, depending on what tribe you talk to, some say that they used to live among them and they were brothers in the forest. Some say they're kind of malicious toward them, so stay away from them. Don't even look at them. Avoid them at all costs.
Right.
So depending on the tribe you talk to,
Right.
how it's in their culture, it's going to differ as well.
Right. And my thing is all these different cultures, they have stories that go back centuries. And I understand maybe you want to make up a story to scare the children, but their descriptions of these animals are pretty detailed, and they match up with a lot of the other descriptions of other tribes that they've never had contact with.
Right.
So, I mean, if they're fabricated stories, that's just one hell of a coincidence.
It is. And they brought up a good it's not a theory, it's a good, point of view that most of the forest land, even in this country, even as we've urbanized and our cities have grown, most of the forest land has been untouched by human. I mean, like they said, we've either flown over it via aircraft or driven
or Google Earth
alongside it. They did bring up Google Earth, but has man been through it all? No, I don't think so.
There's so much wilderness that man cannot even get through.
Right, and some of it's pretty rough terrain, and good hiding places, as they were saying.
Right, because that's what the skeptics say. They said there's no way a creature that big could go undiscovered so long because of the modernization and how we've expanded here in North America. But these are the ones who don't go out into the forest and say, wow, look, there's literally thousands of miles where probably no man has ever stepped foot.
Or just, if you're a couch watcher, just get on your computer and Google Earth. Pick a part of unpopulated America, zoom in on it, and you'll see that there's a lot of, I would say, unvisited terrain that, these are good hiding places for them if they don't want to be found or seen.
Right, and if you ever get on, say Google Earth, like at night, and you could see the lights of all the cities, people are in concentrated pockets.
We are. Yeah, because a lot of the country, it's dark.
Right.
But there's along, I guess where the waterways are, there's a lot of population along the coast and whatnot. So, but very not populated in other areas. And that is a good point, because I've flown many times across the country, and sometimes as you look out the window, you do see terrain, and you're like, oh, there ain't nothing down there.
Yep.
We're just flying over it.
Yep, exactly. And I mean, even if there's a lot of land too that even if you wanted to step foot on it, you can't, because it's controlled by the government.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. But I mean, some of this terrain, just getting back to it, you would have to either go via foot or horseback. And one of the points one of the people on this documentary brought up is, he's like, these creatures are adapted to their surroundings. They know these areas, and they're able to move through them quicker than we are.
Right.
Because this is how they survive. And as if we were to do it, some of it's so rough terrain that it would take us hours to get just a mile.
Right.
As to where they know the ins and outs, and they could zoom through it real quick.
Well, just look where we go camping. Just hiking up that hill is a task.
Yeah, it is. It sure is. I mean, the other good point that they brought up was one gentleman made a statement that, because there's a lot of naysayers that just don't believe, and they think it's a hoax. And he said, I believe in God, but I haven't seen him.
Right.
And that's a good point. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right, exactly. And just because you didn't learn about it in school, don't mean it don't exist. Because look at, since the time we were in high school, how many new species of animals, insects, plants, trees have been discovered since we were in school?
Oh, many. I liked, there was another part that they talked about, and I like how they referenced it to, some of the DNA samples. And some people say that it looks human. Some people say it looks human and primate. And some people say it just looks primate.
Yeah. And, that was another point they brought up is, I guess the guy, I don't know if he was an anthropologist or whatever, but he said when he was back in school, there was limited options as far as man and other creatures that walked up right next to man around the same time. But
right.
Now he said that's totally different. They've made so many discoveries, so that they don't know. They don't know.
No.
And even Gigantopithecus, when all they found was a tooth.
The jawbone. Yeah. That's it.
So, and they can reconstruct this whole creature out of a jawbone.
Right.
But and they're not even sure that animal walked upright. They think it's like a big orangutan.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just amazing. That's crazy science to me. maybe even witchcraft.
Right.
No, but just that's just one discovery. I mean, there's stuff. I mean, there's got to be other creatures in this terrain we can't access. That maybe there are fossils that we just haven't discovered.
Right. And, you know, everyone's always like, well, habeas corpus, show me the body. You know, the forest reclaims everything quick.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that, you know. Not many people have stumbled across bear bones, coyote bones, and we've said it time and time again. Once a creature passes, and some of these creatures, or these animals, they know when they're going to die, so they go off like into high terrain to die. Who's to say that these creatures don't do the same?
Well, I mean, look at all the people who disappear we can't find.
Right. Well, and then there's that theory that we've also heard that because they're kind of primate and they look human-like, maybe they do bury their dead, like some people have said. So if they bury their dead, of course, you're not going to find any bones.
Nope. And you know, if they have similar DNA to us, I would imagine their odor would be similar to us, maybe stronger because they don't bathe.
Right.
But if that's the case and they bury their dead, when they send these dogs out, they're I don't know why they don't find them.
Well, it would have to be a cadaver dog, 'cause
Right,
a regular dog won't.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, these tracking dogs,
Right.
they won't find them
No,
because they're looking for a live person.
Yeah, they're looking for a live scent, but you would probably have to take a cadaver dog and walk hundreds of miles of the forest to, and I'm sure you may find a lot of dead stuff, but is that going to be one of them? Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. But I mean, until everything is exhausted, how could these people say they don't exist?
Right.
I mean, you can't say either way. I mean, to me, there's more evidence that they do exist and then that they don't.
Well, there is. I mean, look at all the footprints. And like they said, you know, of course they proved that one guy was up there doing hoaxes, but I'm sure a lot of people do. But some of these footprints, the way the structure of the foot is, where the dermal ridges and the breaks, it would cost too much money for people just to try and hoax something like that.
And get nothing out of the hoax.
And get nothing out of the hoax.
Yeah, in this, they also discussed the Patterson-Gimlin film, and there's been debate on that since it came out, if it's real or not. And like you said, people have torn it apart, analyzed it, scrutinized it, and the proportions just don't add up to human proportions.
Right.
I mean, whether it's a 5 foot tall human or a 7 foot tall human, their proportions are going to be pretty much the same.
They are.
And this one is not. The arms are too long. Everything's just off. And they said, like, if you use arm extensions, because they say it's a suit, that your elbows would stay in the same place.
They would.
But they're not.
No, and the gait, it's natural for a creature. That's the muscle movement, everything. And like we've talked about in past podcasts, the technology just wasn't there to try and do a hoax that good back then with the suit.
Right.
And like they said, there's been 7 people that said they've worn suits, but not one of them has been able to produce the suit.
Right. Well, it's just, I don't know, people just claiming credit. I mean, not to go off subject here, but there was, I listened to satellite radio and they did an interview. There's kind of a show where Wolfgang's on there, Wolfgang Van Halen, Eddie's son.
Oh, what's it, on Sirius?
Yeah, on Sirius.
What's it called?
I forgot what it is, and I even forgot what channel, but they were talking about the interview, and he was answering questions because now David Lee Roth is saying that he wrote Eruption. And
the only thing David Lee Roth wrote was
his own Ticket Out.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just, it happens because Eddie Van Halen died, so this guy's going to step in and try to take credit.
Right.
Same thing, Patterson-Gimlin, Patterson died, so, and Gimlin's an old man, so people are going to say, yeah, I was in there, I was there.
Right, yeah, and I mean, and to this day, his story has not changed. That's how you could tell it's not a lie. If the story's consistent over years, if it's a lie, it's going to be hard to keep it straight, especially as time goes by. You'd retell it and it'd be totally different. But every time he retells his story, it is consistent with the first time he told it.
Right. I believe he's telling the truth because he, like you said, he would have tripped over his own lies.
Yes, he would. I mean, it eventually happens. I mean, many people get caught in their lies. Why? Because they can't keep it straight over time.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but no, I believe it's the truth too. I believe they saw what they saw. They filmed what they filmed.
Yeah. And there was a couple of interesting videos. They had the Paul Freeman video in there.
Yeah, no, and I remember that Paul Freeman video, and that's one of the best ones I've seen.
And well, we always quote it. Oh, I hear the brush popping.
Yeah. Oh, there she goes.
Yeah. But they scrutinized that one because they said, "Oh no, it's not." How do you know?
They don't. And
yeah, and then there was another one. I forgot who filmed it. It's kind of obscured by the trees. Did you see it?
Oh,
Something big, but
yeah, I did. And of course, everyone's going to say, "Oh, because you haven't seen it or experienced it, oh, it's a fake,
or it's
Everything's a
too
fake."
shaky."
Right.
I mean, you see something that startles you. Let's see how good of a cinematographer you are.
Right? You get pulled over for a speeding ticket, and the cop's a little abrasive. You film that, it's going to be all shaky because you're all scared and nervous.
Yep.
Except me, I wouldn't be.
No, we're not, because the first thing we do is throw out the ashtray.
That's right.
Okay.
But
Now let's get to the interesting part we talked about earlier. The gentleman with the pet theory.
oh, I know. Yes. So go ahead. I'll let you take that one off.
I thought this was pretty interesting. Far-fetched, maybe not. We just don't know enough. And his theory was that the Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call them, they're actually pets of extraterrestrials. They come down just like when you stop at the truck stop and your dog needs to, do his business.
Relieve it. And like you said, they need to relieve themselves.
Right. So they drop them off and they go do their thing. And that's when we see them. That explains their pets. So that explains the smell. And then they take them back up. That's why we can't track them. We can't find them.
Right. I mean, it's a little far-fetched, but is it not true? I can't say.
Right. Now, if it is true, that would explain why a lot of them are
seen around UFOs.
Well, not yet that, and they're very passive. They're not aggressive. They just want to watch you. If they're domesticated animals, but you do hear certain stories about aggressive ones.
Right.
Just like dogs, there's no matter how you raise it, that dog's just going to be an asshole.
Right. Some dogs are, some dogs aren't. Yeah. But I heard that and I was like, okay, this is a new one. That one really was a total new one to me.
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. I see where he's coming from. I don't know if I buy into it, but it's definitely interesting.
No, I don't know if I'd buy into it either or if I'm going to, but it's still a theory out there that can't be proven or unproven.
Right.
So, there we go with one more theory. And I did like how they talked about down like in the South, like Louisiana and some parts where they call them the booger.
Yeah.
Said that's where the boogeyman came from, the booger.
So the wood booger's going to get you.
The wood booger's going to get you. And the first time I heard him called booger was on a documentary that they were talking about him. And they also talked about down in that area, the film where the guy filmed one drowning the deer. Now, that one came out, I'm going to say, over 10 years ago.
Yeah, I've seen that video, but to me, maybe it's just me, I can't see enough to really even see what's going on.
No, I mean, if you pay it, because it's in the shadow of the tree, but like you said, what could hold a 150-pound deer down in water and drown it like that?
Right.
That's something that's got to be, first of all, bigger than the deer, more powerful than the deer.
I know, but who's to say that deer didn't get one of his legs caught in roots or something?
I mean, it did, but I do believe I saw the shadow, and it's like it's hunched over holding it. So you might want to watch it again and slow it down.
With my glasses.
With your glasses, yeah.
Is it sober?
So that's the key, sober. Yeah, but But it's interesting. I mean, because growing up, down in that area in Arkansas, where they do call them the boogers and whatnot, there was a movie called The Legend of Boggy Creek, and this, it's basically a movie about. They called it The Legend of Boggy Creek, but the animal or the creature in this movie basically was a Bigfoot.
Right.
Yeah, and
What was it called? The Falk Monster?
the Falk Monster is what they called it. Yeah, and I remember that movie. A lot of people went to see it when it came out. So this was in the 70s. So that tells you, that the interest in this topic, it's only getting more popular, and we think that, well, no one listens, but there's a lot of people just not in this country but worldwide that get into this subject.
Right. I think it's been intriguing to people since everyone first heard about it.
Right.
But the difference now with the internet is you could access so much more information. You could put your information out there without having repercussions to your face.
Right.
Of course there's going to be trolls, but you could turn off comments,
Yeah.
or you don't have to read them.
That's right. Just ignore them. I personally could care less,
But still, people, even at that, they're still hesitant to come forward and tell their stories.
well, people think they're not going to be believed, and they're going to be looked at it like I'm a crazy kook.
Yeah. Well, people don't believe half the things I say anyway.
But the other thing is, like, it's more and more people are having sightings, and like today, the world's just becoming desensitized to everything. So people, they're open about everything now. I mean, from their sexuality to their eating habits. So
Well, they're open, but I don't know about desensitized because they get their feelings hurt pretty easy.
certain ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's one of those things that if they're going to think you're crazy, who cares,
Right.
But some of the best people that have done like documentaries are people that weren't believers, but one day they were out in the forest and they had their encounter, and now they're just obsessed with, like, I got to see it again, or I got to find out more about it.
Right. And a lot of it is proving to yourself that you actually saw what you've seen, or
Right.
experienced what you experienced.
Right. And I know I seen a documentary a few weeks ago that there was an old woman on there, and she said she's had more than one encounter, and she's out there trying to collect data. But her thing is, she doesn't want them harmed. She's like, they just need to be left alone and live.
Right.
But we can't protect them unless we could prove they're real.
Right. Exactly.
So, but then when we do prove they're real, the forest is going to get filled with crazies,
Crazy hunters
Yeah,
too.
you're going to get TMZ out there all over the forest.
Yep.
Bigfoot was sighted at the lake eating a raw fish. Can you believe it?
Yep. And he had Paris Hilton with him.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's good. After I watched that documentary, I was scrolling through YouTube, and I saw a clip of Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're talking about Bigfoot, and he's saying, "Well, it's fascinating because this creature did exist at one time." He was referring to Gigantopithecus.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like, "Oh, everyone in the Bigfoot world, it's bullshit." You know how Joe Rogan is.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh man," and there's millions of people who are going to believe this clown because he's Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Well, what's bullshit is what they pay Joe Rogan for his show.
Yep.
But nonetheless, hey, if I could get paid for that kind of bullshit, I guess I wouldn't cry too much either.
Yep.
But let's talk about something that recently happened, and this is a little off topic, but it's still, in the realm of the paranormal, the Bigfoot realm. So Friday I went to work, and one of my coworkers goes into work early, and when I got to work, she came to my door and she said, "I'm haunting her." And I said, "What?" She told me, "You're haunting me." And I kind of was like, "What do you mean?" She said, "I was here early." She said, "And I swore." She said, "I'm not going crazy. I swore I saw you walking down the hallway going toward another coworker's office." And I said, what? She said, I'm not lying. I saw you here early. So she asked another coworker that was there early, and she said, no, I haven't seen him. So she went to my office door, and I was here at home still. She went to my office door, and it was locked, and my lights were out. So she thought, well, maybe he just stopped by. And the other coworker said, yeah, maybe he had a meeting and he had to leave. No, I wasn't even at work. I didn't get to work till maybe 10 to 7 that morning. And it was about 6:10, 6:20 when she, I guess, saw my tracer, my apparition walking through the hall. But she swears that she saw me there at that time. And I told her what was I wearing, and she said it was my white dress shirts I wear and a pair of khaki pants. And I have worn that. I wear them all the time, different color pants, white shirts. And I asked her, did you see the face? Because I was interested. She said, no, it was from behind. She said, but I see you every day. I know it was you.
She knows that ass.
Yeah. So that was interesting in itself. And like I said, not to get off topic, but I just wanted to share that with my brother here.
That's crazy.
And
did you tell her maybe it was just another handsome devil from the spirit world?
Right. So she now says that she's going to come in, because she does come in earlier than everyone, because she leaves a little earlier. And she said she's going to come in and just go straight to her office and lock the door. She said as if a locked door could stop a ghost. But she didn't know what to make of it. She was freaked out. And she swears it was me. She swears I was walking down the hall and I was there at that time.
Well, you know what she's asking for, right? To be pranked. You should paint yourself white and show up one day.
Oh.
But if she has a heart attack, you're gonna get fired.
Oh yeah, no. She said she swore it was me, and it wasn't me. So.
Wow. Well, they say people when they spend a lot of time and energy in one spot, some of their energy stays.
That's what I said. I left tracers, I guess, because I don't know what you saw, but it wasn't me. And
it's funny because when I leave work and like the next crew takes over and they run the same equipment,
right?
They say they can still smell me. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know either.
Yeah, that's weird. That is really weird. You guys don't have surveillance cameras, or
we do?
Did anyone check the footage?
No, but I want them to pull it.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if something shows up, what if you see like your ghost self on that footage? What are you gonna do?
Well, now I'm freaked out.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did that happen?
What the hell? Do I got one foot in the grave? What's going on here? Take me to the doctor now.
Right. No, it's interesting, but yeah, I'm gonna ask him to pull the footage for that time frame, just that little time frame, just so we could see what's what. But if I do see something on there, I'm gonna be a little tripped out.
I would too. I definitely would.
Yeah, and I've seen footage of a night guard talking to a spirit, but it wasn't caught on the camera. And he's talking to the surveillance room, the person in the surveillance room, and she asked him, "Who are you talking to?" And he's like, "Well, I'm talking to so and so." And she said, "Who?" Yeah, she wants to visit so and so. So I told her, "Come back tomorrow." So she said, "Can you repeat the name?" So when he repeats the woman's name, she says, She passed 2 years ago. So then the guard says, "You don't see her right here? I'm talking to her." And she said, "I don't see anyone there with you." So he takes a look and you just see him like slowly back away. He turns around and then he runs down the hall. He was freaked out, but
I don't blame him.
Yeah, the camera didn't caught it, but they show him having a conversation. And then when she asks, "Who are you talking to?" he starts telling her, and she's like, "There's no one there." And so I don't know, maybe the camera catches it, maybe there's no one there, but she swears to me I was there.
Well, if they catch it on camera, you could act like Ozzy. Double exposure.
That was a double exposure. Sharon!
It's ball lightning.
Ball lightning. Yeah, that's his answer for everything. Yeah. But anyway, back to the Bigfoot. This was it was an interesting documentary that It had a lot of different theories to it.
Yeah.
And
That pet theory really got me. I was like,
yeah, it was one that I was like, okay, I didn't never think about going down that rabbit hole, but now here we go.
right, but we just don't know enough to discount it or take it seriously.
Right. And they did talk about one of the videos I've seen, and I've watched it over and over. It's about the state trooper that's giving the woman a ride home.
Oh, and they catch it.
And it crosses the road. And I've watched that one several times. And yeah, something big, a big dark shadow runs across the road. And this is off a dash cam. So,
An official dash cam.
yes, an official police dash cam. So, I don't think they were playing a joke because that could get him fired.
Or if somebody else is hoaxing, that could get them shot.
Exactly. So, and he did turn around and he was like, it was already over the guardrail and
it
gone.
flashed by him.
Yeah, it was gone, and it went across fairly quickly. But
yeah, and on this documentary, there was one part where this lady saw something walking, and the guy said, "Well, I researched it, and there's a lot of black bears in that area, and that's what it was, a black bear, because they stand up and you see a black bear the way it walks, and if you've seen the footage of a Sasquatch walking, it's no way you're going to confuse those. No way.
Two different things.
A bear walking on its hind legs, those legs are short.
Yeah,
Short.
they kind of
It's all torso.
And if you look at the tracks when they see supposedly Squatch tracks, they're like one in front of the other, and a bear would kind of like
Stagger.
waddle.
Yeah,
waddle. Because they don't have the linked in their back legs to walk.
And not to mention the tracks.
Yeah.
Now, when they do confuse a bear track for a Sasquatch track, it's when they're all fours and they double step.
Yes.
Yeah, but not when they're walking upright. They can't do that.
No, if they're walking upright, that's...
And I've never seen a bear where people say that bear was upright and his hands were almost down to his knees.
Right. And it ran so fast.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to bring that up. We got a few minutes, but I was watching this other documentary, and it might have been that movie I told you about, and they were talking about a Native American boy that encountered one while he was hunting.
Right.
And he said he took off running, and this thing chased him. He said, but it couldn't run very fast.
Yeah.
So that contradicts everything we've heard before.
Yeah, it can, but maybe it didn't want to catch him.
Or maybe it was an older one or injured.
Could be, yeah. Could be either.
I can't run it very fast.
No, I can't either. But, I don't think, well, who knows, but maybe it didn't want to hurt him because he's a young kid.
Just wanted to get him out of there.
Yeah, just get him away, scare him away enough, and said, well, if I really wanted to catch you, I can, but I'm just going to toy with you.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, or like you said, maybe it's an older one that has arthritis and,
Yep. Needs a knee replacement.
Right? I mean, animals get arthritis too, so,
Yeah.
and they're out in all the elements, so you would figure they're going to have it.
A lot sooner than we do.
Yeah. But, there's some interesting topics. If you want, check it out. It's on Tubi.
Yep. Tubi's good because they have a lot of Bigfoot content.
They do. That's what we wanted to share with you tonight. We hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and keep tuning in. If you're just tuning in via the podcast, whether it's Apple Podcast or wherever you get your podcast.
Yep. We're trying to get back on track here.
Yeah, we are. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us for a while, and we appreciate it. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching.
We hope all you YouTubers enjoyed the show.
That's right. And don't forget to reach out to us at cryptidcrossroads505@gmail.com.
Peace.
Peace.